Good morning and welcome to Morning Soul. Today, Meredith is coming through with a message about feeling safe in the uncomfortable. Monday, I made a video about being comfortable in the uncomfortable. If no one has seen it, that is on my YouTube. I try to post my little sneak peek, the few seconds of it on Monday on my TikTok, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and none of it was posting. But it is on my YouTube, and I will send you a link to that if you're interested, or you can just go straight to my YouTube channel, Soul Art by Stephanie Regal, and it is on there. And the title is called Getting Comfortable in the Uncomfortable. Today is about feeling safe in it. So briefly, that video was about learning how to get comfortable with the uncomfortable emotions, stories, and belief systems that are holding us back, that we pushed away for a really long time. And by doing that more, you're getting comfortable with them. And it's not that they're true. It's not saying that you're going to become best friends with them, but they're no longer to have power over you. You're not going to have so much fear around them because you're like, oh, these are just stories. And are they true? Is it true that I'm not worthy? Is it true that I'm incapable? Is it true that I can't change? Is it true that what everyone else is doing or whatever my family grew up doing, that I have to do it too? She said the answer to all that is no, if you need help with that. And today she wants to talk about feeling safe in it. That when you're exploring these stories more and these belief systems that have kept you small for a really long time or stuck in a pattern over and over again, to feel safe with, I can think differently. So she said, we're going to start small. Instead of saying, I am worthy of love, I am worth loving myself. Learning to love yourself, even if it just takes a small step forward, is huge. She said, we are so used to abandoning ourselves for the sake of other people, for the sake of feeling comfortable, for the sake of feeling, she said, repetition, that if you see people having a hard time loving themselves, or you grew up learning that you have to be selfless and give and give and give, and if you put yourself first and you love yourself first, well, then you're overconfident, you're cocky. Who do you think you are? You know, especially if you're in organized religion. I remember growing up Catholic, having to chant that you're unworthy. And I still remember that moment that I said that in church. I was like, whoa. Like, it was like this kind of like something's not right here. But I was too young to understand what happened. I was too young to understand that was programming. I was too young to understand that, oh, me thinking something's not right here is because my true power is loving in myself. In that if their gospel and their scripture saying that, you know, you are love, you are God, then you should be able to love yourself, they said. That is a truth. There's pieces of truth in the Bible or in scripture or whatever religion you're in, but it's been twisted and turned to make you feel unworthy and not safe. And she said, now it's time to go back to feeling safe. And that's coming back home to yourself and knowing that you are worthy of love, especially your own. So she said, if there's a lot of guilt and shame in the body due to past mistakes or the fact that you know what you're about to do is different than everybody else, especially in your family or in your friend group, knowing that it's safe to step out a little bit, even if it's just a little pinky toe out of the line, she said. What does that feel like? What is it to feel like to say, I'm worthy of my own love? That despite everything I ever did, or that whatever I feel shame and guilt about, especially where I am in my life right now, do you see that you did the best that you could? Even if there was better options available to you, whether that's a relationship, a friendship, a connection, a job, what if those choices you didn't make that you wish that you did make earlier or at that some point, it's because you were so afraid of not feeling worthy that you stayed stuck or you chose what felt comfortable to make yourself feel safe. So now we're guiding you, she said, to feeling safe in loving yourself and embodying that. What does it look like to love yourself? What can you appreciate right now? Is it because you're finally realizing you want more? Is it because you finally realize all the crap that you've been holding on to is no longer working and never did work, but you thought it did work because everyone else is doing it? And who am I to think that I can fix this? And who am I to think that I can do better than this? And what connections would that strain? She said those doubts and fears are what's trying to keep you small and safe. So We're going to sit in that, she said. We're going to put our hand over our heart. We're going to put our hand on our abdomen. Deep breath. She said, imagine yourself as a child, just playing. She showed me someone, or an example for us is like you're sitting on the floor, maybe you're a few years old, maybe 2 or 3 years old, and you have your favorite toy or something that you enjoyed or your favorite dog with you, and everything was okay. You were enough in that moment. You were just playing. There was nothing wrong with you, she said. This pure innocence that's here before other situations, experiences, and influencers told you that you're a bad person or that you're not good enough or you can't do this and who do you think you are, and look at everything you ever did before. Look at what you didn't do. You don't have to carry this shame and guilt anymore, she said. She's showing me there's a light coming through the heart chakra going up to the throat chakra, because as you're changing these stories slowly and allowing a new one to come in, you're opening up your throat chakra that's been closed for a really long time because you bit your tongue or you felt like it was not good enough or you felt like it wasn't true what you really wanted to say. You're bringing your power back. The vocal cord, she said, opening up your mouth, opening up your heart, because if you're speaking your truth, you're speaking through your heart. She said also, apologize to yourself. I'm sorry for how I've been speaking to you. I'm sorry for shutting down. I'm sorry for trying to keep myself small and feeling stuck and making choices to stay in that because I felt that it was safer. I'm sorry for not expressing myself. I'm sorry for not expressing my truth. I keep hearing I'm sorry for shutting down. And this is to yourself, by the way. They said this is not for you to apologize to someone else. Eventually that could come. Right now it's about yourself, apologizing for yourself, for situations that you put yourself in, for things that you said, for things you didn't say, for not speaking up for yourself. Because there's stuck energy in the body here. You let yourself shut down for too long. She said shoulders drop, soften the jaw here, because it feels like you're about to get tense, or you are feeling tense because this is new and your body's like, what is this? It's okay. It is safe to let go of the grip of this story and to see that the decisions I made were based off of old truths or old programs or old belief systems or things that you saw or things that you thought were normal. She said, it's okay. You can't go back and change what happened, but you can go back and change how it felt. Because you're still holding on to the fear and the pain, the shame and the guilt. You can change the emotions around it, the perspective around it, she said. It's okay to feel this. And as you're doing this, you're getting safe in the uncomfortable. Because even though we keep thinking, oh my gosh, loving ourselves would be amazing, and allowing ourselves to speak our truth is amazing, and oh my gosh, how amazing would it feel to let go of this guilt and shame? She said, yes, that feels amazing, but that freedom is scary. To the subconscious mind, it's scary, she said. Small is safe. So as you're breaking open that programming and you're breaking open that old thought process to see what's really inside, which is that call for self-love and self-trust and self-worth, it can be scary because we've never been here before. We were never taught to do this, she said. Is it safe to accept ourselves? If our early programming says it's not safe to accept ourselves because there's something wrong with us, or we didn't do what we were supposed to do, or we didn't say what we were supposed to say, and we didn't grow up in a household where you felt safe to express yourself. Of course this is scary, she said. Of course that little boy or little girl in you is screaming inside thinking, no, shut down, shut down. You try to do this now, someone's going to block you out. Someone's going to run away from you. You're going to be told that that's not true and go back to where you belong. And she said, it doesn't matter the stories. Your subconscious is trying to remind you how it felt to be a child, which is to shut down. But now as a grown adult, and you are aware of what's going on, you're aware of what's going on with your body if you're doing the work from the previous videos that she's been leading up to, you'll see that it's time to feel safe in the unknown. And the unknown is self-love, self-worth. It's been buried for so long, and we shut it down for so long because it was safer that way. And then we were programmed that way. And also, they're showing me, like, even despite growing up and being around other people, if they were raised in similar situations, they weren't their authentic selves either. They were also shut down. So there was a familiarity with that, she said. So what does it look like to love yourself? What does it look like to finally see that you're worthy and enough now? What does it look like that you can do something different, and you can think differently, and you can speak up differently? Whether it's within yourself or your friend group, your family, relationships, your job. Now, granted, there's certain situations that you can't bring in your personal opinions because you have to stay professional, she said, in certain cases. And you don't need to add that to the mix. But those people in your life that you feel like you really want to be authentic with, it is time to do that with yourself first. Because if you can tap into this authenticity within you, your inner truths, and knowing that you're worthy and enough now, not when, now, you will be able to build this self-confidence and this strength in you that when you do decide to step forward as your true self among the crowds, she said, despite its family, friends, work, whatever, any situation, there's already this confidence level of, I know who I am. And I trust myself, and I love myself, and it's safe to be me. And if someone can't accept that, or if me stepping into my inner power and truth triggers other people, despite what who those people are, she said, okay, you still have yourself. And if you can have a really good home and foundation within yourself, how amazing is that, as everyone else is walking around on a broken foundation or a shitty shed, she said. I would much rather have a safe home within myself than stay in a shitty shed situation with someone else, she said. That's the affirmation. What does it look like to have a steady home within myself? Well, the floors are confidence. The walls are trust. The open doors is security and safety and love. Start naming the parts of the house. The roof is sturdy, unconditional love. It's ever flowing. And that's also the water in the house. She said it's ever flowing. Even if that water is tears sometimes, you know it's safe. That house will not break on you because you trust it and you built it on a strong foundation. The more you can do this, little by little, something's going to shift in you, she said. Authenticity will start coming up more. Opportunities to practice that authenticity is coming up more. And it's practice, she said, because where you are going, you have to absolutely trust yourself and trust the foundation that you're building. We cannot give you what you have been calling in for a long time until you trust yourself. And to trust yourself, you have to love yourself. There's no such thing as trusting yourself, but then not loving yourself. She said, you have to abide by that. You have to love yourself, because if you love yourself enough, you're going to be honest with yourself enough. And if you're honest with yourself and you allow yourself to feel the emotions that are coming up for you, whether that they're true or not, their old belief systems or not, their sabotages or strength, you're building a trust within yourself. And if you can trust yourself, there's this confidence that comes up because you know yourself. You know who you are. This is where we start, she said. Baby steps, all baby steps. We're all stepping on this ladder where we need to make sure we can trust the ladder. But that ladder is our emotions. That ladder is our stories. So let's just say you're trying to step forward and there's a story saying that you're not worthy enough. Well, that step that is not like strong, you're going to break through, she said, and drop back down. If you want to step up, that next step has to be built on self-trust and self-confidence and self-worth. That's the only thing that will keep you sturdy. If you keep thinking, I'm going to take that step and I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if I'm worthy of it, I really feel like I'm a shitty person or I didn't work hard enough for it, well, all of a sudden that step's going to go like this. You know you're doing the work and you're where you're supposed to be. And when you step forward, there's a strength in you of like, I got this. I can do this. It's safe here. And don't you dare move forward until you trust a little bit more, she said. This is the epitome of moving forward. We keep thinking it's racing ahead. We keep being told to hustle, 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 and work, 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 and don't stop, don't stop. Sometimes you have to pause, especially if there's something coming up for you that's triggering you and makes you feel like you're not feeling safe or worthy or enough. You have to start investigating. She said, where did this come from? How long have I been holding it? How long have I been believing this system? And she said, even if you don't know exactly where this came from, just know that at some point, something or someone made you feel this way, and it became a safety blanket, despite it being crappy, she said, because we were told through example or stories that it's safer to play small than to go bigger. That you can't get hurt if you lower your expectations. She's having me do a pause right now because a lot of us hold that story. What would it look like if we just kind of peeked beyond that story? If there's a wall that's blocking us from more, peek. What would it look like if you did expect better things to happen, that you are worthy of more, that you can have that better job, that you can have that better life, that you can make those healthier choices, and that it's us holding ourselves back, and it is us who are going to save ourselves and work on ourselves, so we're not holding ourselves back but pushing ourselves forward when we know it's time to grow. I know that was a lot of information. Definitely ponder that, she said. Take that in. Make me feel like someone needs to watch this video a few times to really let this sink in. But just know that you're not alone. There's so many other people who feel the same way, and we're all being pushed to grow in many forms. I love you. Bye.